Ollie, less than 3 weeks away then from this new deadline. What is the state of play?
Yeah, just to refresh everybody on kind of where we are, because the percentages are changing, the dates are changing. Initially, the EU is facing 50% tariffs on August the 9th. Now we're talking about 30% tariffs on August the 1st, so about 2.5 weeks away. And that follows that letter that came from President Donald Trump to the European Commission, to Ursula von der Leyen. And I'll just read some of the excerpts of that just to give you sort of the broad update here from the Trump administration, basically saying that the EU needs to reduce all of its trade barriers with the United States, bring tariffs to zero, but also reduce the non-trade barriers. That, of course, is the big difficulty in these discussions, Tom. But what we got in terms of details about how he's thinking about this, if for any reason you decide to raise your tariffs and retaliate, then whatever number you choose to raise them by, that will be added to the 30% that we charge. So that is where the Trump administration's sort of baseline is going into this. Remember, the European Union sort of had come to terms with the idea that there would be a 10% baseline tariff that many of the member states were not terribly happy about, but were willing to swallow without retaliation. The question is, how do they respond if you do get 30% tariffs? And we heard from Ursula von der Leyen, who gave some idea of that, who said, we remain ready to continue working towards an agreement by August the 1st. At the same time, we will take all necessary steps to safeguard EU interests, including adoption of proportionate countermeasures if required. And that will be the discussion before many of the ministers that are meeting today in Brussels to discuss, A, an update on those trade negotiations, but also, B, what retaliation looks like from the EU. We know they have a list of already 20 billion euros worth of goods to retaliate against the United States. We understand they will be adding another 70 billion to that in terms of possible retaliation to the United States. But the question is, how hard are they going to go in the lead up to these discussions that are about, a deadline that's 2.5 weeks away? As we know, the European Union would like to see a negotiated outcome. That being said, we do not know what's in the mind of Donald Trump, if he's really committed to this 30% rate, if it's just a negotiating tactic. So the EU needs to be prepared to retaliate if they must.